Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure vehicle review. Today, we're going to look at the Hasbro Fortnite Victory Royale series Motorboat. This is a 1/12 or 6-inch scale vehicle. A motorboat is one of the many vehicles in the game Fortnite, and in the game, it can hold up to 4 characters, just like you see on the front here, one in the driver's seat, and then 3 passengers. I ordered this thing from Amazon. Funny story. It was supposed to deliver about a week ago. It shipped. It arrived right in my city. And then something was wrong. It was labeled as delayed. Another day later, it said I could get a refund if I wanted, but I didn't. I just waited. And it still said delayed. Then all of a sudden it said returning to seller. I have no idea why. Maybe it was damaged, but it sure didn't say that. Pretty annoying. Then they gave me a refund. And then I reordered it. It said it was coming November. And then it showed up just a few days later. So let's check out the packaging. As you can see, we've got 4 different Fortnite characters in the boat. Ages 8+, Motorboat, Fortnite Victory Royale series by Epic Games and Hasbro. Top simply says Fortnite. Not much going on the sides there. Other side just shows you the boat and a little bit of water effect. On the back side, got the boat. Looks like a little missile here. Boat with a water effect underneath it. Can hold 4 characters, which is pretty cool. Looks like they're little pegs with peg holes in their feet. At the bottom, got a bunch of credits. And let's see if I can get that barcode for you. Here is the barcode in case that helps anybody. So this thing is kind of expensive. It's going to run a good $72 or so. Some places a little more, maybe a little bit less in some places. I don't know if it's going to be sold at big box retailers like Target and Walmart. Pretty big and high dollar item. So I'd say it's safe, probably go ahead and get this thing online. I'll be very interested to see, though, if any of the stores are carrying this. I'd say it's definitely a strong possibility. So, with no further ado, let's open it up. And yes, I did get 2 of these things. A motorboat, I thought could be very useful in my action figure collection. In addition to that, I'm a huge Fortnite fan. I have absolutely all the figures. So, plenty of guys to put into 2 different one of these boats. End of the game, there are tons of boats in each match. Alright, now that we got this vehicle out of the package, here it is with all its accessories laid out. It comes with this large water effect, a missile, an extra piece of exhaust, and then a chair. This thing is big. The detail's great. Yeah, it's a little bit animated looking, but definitely not too much. So, let's start off by putting the pieces together. But before we do that, here are both of the boats with all their accessories laid out. So now back to getting the boat put together. Let's start off by putting the chair inside. Here's the boat with the chair inside. Push it in, it locks into place. It does have rotation on the chair there. Now it's adding the missile. Yellow, white lines around the sides. Kind of basic looking. Here's the missile attached to the front side of the boat. It's on the left-hand side. It's bright yellow, very noticeable. So if you're like me and you're thinking about using this speedboat or motorboat for just a regular boat for regular people, you can just sort of take this thing out. And yeah, it still has this piece there, but it's a lot less noticeable without this bright yellow missile there. In Fortnite, when you're driving the boat, it's the only way you can shoot people. You've got this missile launcher. Except for the passengers, they can use their guns to shoot at any time. Now it's attached to this extra exhaust piece. This will go onto the bottom. Pretty plain. Now one thing I would hesitate on, if you want the boat to sit on a flat surface like a table or something like that, you might not want to put this on. When you add this, it's going to get a big bump at the bottom, make it a little more rocky on a flat surface. Here's the boat with that extra piece attached to the bottom. As you can see, it's kind of the exhaust down there, although it's got a couple different ones on the sides for the boost, I guess. But it adds this little bump down here, so when you put it down, it will stay flat. Not as bad as I thought, but you know, you got a little bit of that going on too. Just FYI. Then we have this water effect. This will go underneath the boat. Made of a semi-transparent blue plastic. Pretty cool. Looks like the exhaust will go in here. Kind of hollow on the inside. Could be a good way to display the boat. Just depends on what you're going for. And I thought to myself, this could be pretty cool for maybe an Aquaman figure, or maybe even some ice that Mr. Freeze is shooting. Just thinking out loud. Here it is, nesting into the water effect. The exhaust piece will help keep it stable and secure in there. It's actually risen off the ground. Kind of looks like it's in the middle of doing its boost. You can see, what I say, I'm liking this thing quite a bit. Now let's take a very good look at it. But real quick, here are both of the boats, fully assembled. Now I just want to take a closer look at this thing. So let's start off at the front here. It's got this sort of gap in the middle. You can see what's sort of dirtied up here. Not really sure what that logo is. Little skull with something below it. Then we have the missile launcher. I'm probably going to prefer to have it without it, unless I'm using it for Fortnite purposes. But I can see a lot of other purposes to use this thing for. Got some sort of piping down here. Bright orange. Here's another engine. This is going to be for when the speedboat uses the boost. It's got the deck here, all done wood. Tons of different pegs for the action figures, peg holes on their feet. 2 for one guy, 2 for another guy, 2 for another guy, then the chair. And in all reality, you could fit way more than 4 guys in here if you really want to. You could probably fit 7 with fair ease. Got the steering wheel here. It does rotate. You can see the controls, a little dashboard inside there. More buttons on either side. A little radar type thing. The back, a little spinny thing here. Not sure the purpose. Got the exhaust. And the bottom, pretty basic. Now let's check out the measurements of this thing, just to see if you have the space to accommodate it. So as far as how long it is, from front to back, just about 20 inches long. As far as how wide it is, from the furthest point to the other side, about 9.5 inches wide. And as far as how tall it is, about 5 inches tall. It'd be a little bit taller when you add the water effect. Now let's look at the action features, and there really aren't too many. First of all, there would be the water effect at the bottom, and that would sort of have the boat going into the air, simulating using the boost from the game. Then we have the chair. Put a figure in here, can rotate. Of course, you got the pegs for all the different figures in the back. Steering wheel can also rotate. You've got the missile that is removable. You've got this little thing back here. Spins. Really no other action features besides just being a badass speedboat. And probably the coolest action features thing has these extra sort of engines back here. When it does the boost, they can come out and sort of move. Pretty nice little display option here. Here's a look at 2 Fortnite squads. They're both riding on the motorboat. Guns ablazing, trying to take each other out. Trying to get that victory crown. The victory Royale. Here's Deathstroke getting onto the motorboat, approaching Lex Luthor. Just like at the end of Justice League. Both the Whedon cut and the Zack Snyder cut. Deathstroke approaches Lex Luthor on this boat. He mentions, "Don't waste my time." Lex Luthor says, "I would never do that." And it leads to mentioning making their own Justice League, the Injustice League, a league of their own. Lex Luthor's been recruiting. Here's Batman and the Batboat chasing after a bunch of thugs. They're aiming their guns at him, firing aimlessly, bulletproof and all. And here's Batman and another Batboat chasing after these thugs. This is actually the 3-in-1 Batjet from the animated show, The Batman. But I'm pretty confident, if I remember correctly, this is what the Batboat looked like in the show. Here's some rich dude out in the ocean, partying with a bunch of women on his speedboat. Boats and hoes. Here's an example of Aquaman riding these 2 different water accessories. Now let's put some guides in this thing. Let's see which Fortnite figures look best in this. Then we'll check it out with some other Fortnite vehicles and some other boat type vehicles that I have. And then we'll check it out with some action figures from different various companies to see how it fits in both scale and style wise, in case you want to know what designs you can use this thing with. Here's this boat with the first assortment of figures from Hasbro's Fortnite line. When Hasbro first launched the Fortnite line, frankly I was kind of pissed. I thought Jazwares was doing a fine job, and I thought this big company, Hasbro, just sort of stole the license from them. But Hasbro's doing a pretty nice job as well. So let's check these figures out in the boat. We have some smaller figures, like Lynx here, and then some bigger figures, like Ripley. Let's see if they both fit in the front seat. Here's Lynx in the front seat. She's a smaller figure. She fits in there just fine. Hands can hold the steering wheel. And she has a tail. But you just move to the side, it's absolutely no problem. And here's Ripley in the front seat. His leg articulation is not that great. He's also just a little bit too big and bulky. You can sort of see the steering wheel kind of stuck in his crotch area. He doesn't really fit. I mean, it's fudgeable, but he's not the best person to drive the boat. Here are the 4 figures in the boat, guns blazing, ready to take on another squad. When you have the water effect here, the boat is sort of leaning up a little bit. As you can see, these figures are kind of leaning to the back. Get rid of the water effect, and the figures stand pretty nice in the boat. If it weren't for those little pegs down there, I don't think you'd be able to stand up with the water effect. At least not easily. Here's Series 3 in front of this boat. This is the newest wave that I have from Hasbro, although I think some people have Wave 4 already, and we've definitely seen Wave 5. Cluck here is the biggest figure in the wave, so I'm not going to put him in the driver's seat. Here are these 4 figures in the boat. You can accommodate these figures pretty nicely. I'll say, I don't really see a fit more than maybe 6 guys in the boat. You could probably put 2 more in this sort of area down here. And like I said, you can accommodate 6 figures pretty easily. You could cram more in there, but it's going to look way too crowded and packed. Here's this Fortnite boat with some other miscellaneous Hasbro Fortnite characters. These guys are not part of a traditional wave. Some exclusives and some deluxe figures. Brutus and Meowskulls here are going to be probably too big to sit in the driver's seat. And then, here are these figures in the Fortnite boat. One mildly interesting thing, Brutus has no holes in his feet. I'll tell you, it is a lot easier to put the figures in there when you have the water effect underneath. Even though they're leaning back, it creates some stability for this thing. Trying to put these guys like this, it's constantly rocking, trying to knock off the figures. Here are some Jazwares Fortnite Legendary Series figures in front of this boat. These things are also 6-inch scale, pretty much exactly the same as Hasbro. And here they are, riding on the boat. You've got the Black Knight driving, other figures at the back, guns blazing. They fit in just fine with this motorboat. A big question of mine from the beginning. And then, here's some McFarlane Fortnite figures in front of the boat. I wish McFarlane still made Fortnite figures. I really appreciate their 7-inch scale. It seems like they're completely done with Fortnite figures, and it ended sort of abruptly. Like I said before, these are 7-inch scale figures, so I don't necessarily expect them to work with the boat. Sure, they're going to stand up just fine in the back, but I'm concerned about one of them fitting the driver's seat or not. And here are the McFarlane Fortnite figures in this motorboat. A little bit big, but they definitely fit, and some of these smaller characters, like Cuddle Team Leader, they're going to fit into the seat. Maybe not perfect, but it's fudgeable. And while we're on the subject of Hasbro Fortnite figures, here's the entire Hasbro Fortnite collection. I'm pretty much caught up, although I know some people have Series 4 of the single figures. We have all the traditional waves on the bottom, and all the deluxe 2-packs and exclusives on the top. Looking forward to some more. And here's the entire Jazwares Fortnite Legendary Series collection. A little bit of an old photo. I do have the newest last figures that came out. These figures fit in very nicely with the Hasbro stuff. Same scale, just slightly different body types. And here's the entire McFarlane Fortnite collection. They're the ones that started the 6 and 7-inch scale Fortnite figures. I do appreciate their 7-inch scale, love their DC line, and wish they continued making Fortnite figures. Here's this Hasbro Fortnite Speedboat, next to McFarlane Fortnite Quad Crasher. The McFarlane toys are 7-inch scale, a little bit larger than the Hasbro 6-inch scale Fortnite figures, but these vehicles will really work for either size figure, and for that I appreciate it. And I did get 3 of those quad crashers. They make for some good Joker vehicles. And in Fortnite, there are plenty of those scattered throughout the map. And another, I guess, sort of Fortnite vehicle is going to be this McFarlane shopping cart. It's another way of mobility around the map. This is one of the first vehicles in the game. Here's the Hasbro Motorboat next to the 4 different McFarlane gliders. I guess these are more or less sort of Fortnite vehicles from McFarlane. I absolutely love the 2 Dragon gliders. And here's the motorboat next to all the different Hasbro gliders. 4 of these came on their own. One of them came with a deluxe figure. Then, next to a couple of Hasbro Fortnite sharks. Kind of like vehicles in line. And in the game, you can use a fishing pole and ride on these things for increased mobility. They're also perfect next to the boat for obvious reasons. And now, with some Hasbro Fortnite hoverboards. These are also vehicles in the game. Not currently in the game, but they were definitely fun to use, and I hope to see them back. And here it is, next to a couple of chickens. Chickens are not exactly vehicles, but when they were around in the game, you could grab one and sort of glide with it, increasing your mobility. Then, here it is, next to several different Hasbro Fortnite Raptors. I guess it's sort of like a vehicle in the action figure line, although in the game, you couldn't ride these Raptors. They would only be hostile and you'd have to kill them. Now let's check it out, next to some other boats in my action figure world, and I don't have very many. Here it is, next to the Batman Forever Bat Boat. This is more so for the 5-inch scale figures. Then, next to the Batman Batjet. But I swear, this is how the Batboat looked in the show. This is also for 5-inch scale figures. Here's this Speedboat, next to a Mattel wrestling boat. This one came with, I believe, a Matt Hardy figure from the Ultimate Deletion match. Now let's check this boat out next to some action figures from different various companies to see how it fits in both scale and style-wise, in case you know which lines you can use it with. Since it's for Hasbro Fortnite figures, I'm going to start off my comparisons with some of the smaller action figure lines I collect, and work my way larger. Since we already checked it out, next to some of our Jazwares Fortnite figures, let's move on to the next line. Here are some SH Figure Arts action figures in front of this boat. And here they are in the boat. Perfect scale for this thing. Now let's check it out with some of their Hasbro lines. Here it is, with some Marvel Legends in front. Marvel Legends, Fortnite, and G.I. Joe are all pretty similar scale, so this should all work very fine with the boat. Here are the Hasbro Marvel Legend figures in the boat. Perfect fit. Then, here are some Hasbro G.I. Joe classified figures in front of this boat. I've seen a lot of people online saying they're going to get this boat and use it for G.I. Joe figures. Really good idea. They don't make enough G.I. Joe vehicles, but there are definitely some out there. Here are the Hasbro G.I. Joe classified figures in the boat. Once again, perfect fit. If you want to use them for G.I. Joe, it'll be no problem. And here's the boat, with some Mafex figures in front of it. Here are the Mafex figures in this boat. They also fit pretty nicely. Then, here's some Mattel DC Universe Classics and Multiverse figures in front of the boat. Here are the Mattel DC figures on this boat. They fit pretty nicely. Even that Bruce Wayne figure there, made from the Clark Kent body. His legs are seriously obstructed articulation-wise, but it still works pretty nice. And here are some Mezco 112 collective figures in front of the boat. Here are the Mezco figures in this boat. So far, all the lines I've shown fit no problem in both the back and the driver's seat. And now, here are some Jazwares AEW wrestling figures in front of the boat. Here are the Jazwares wrestlers in the boat. They fit better than I would have expected. I picked one of the smaller figures for the driver's seat for obvious reasons. Then, here are some Mattel wrestling figures in front of the boat. Here are the Mattel wrestling figures in this boat. It works, but it's getting harder and harder, especially in the driver's seat. Here are some NECA figures in front of the boat. We're getting into the 7-inch scale territory, so I'm kind of doubtful many of these lines are going to fit into the driver's seat, but they should be just fine in the back of the boat, for what it's worth. Here are some NECA figures in the boat. Works surprisingly well. Then, here are some DC Direct and DC Collectibles figures in front of the boat. Here are these DC Direct figures in the boat. Works better than I expected. Here are some McFarlane non-Fortnite figures in front of the boat. Here are the McFarlane figures in the boat. I don't think any of these guys would fit in the driver's seat besides this guy, and he's really not fitting in there properly. And here are some DST, or Diamond Select toys in front of the boat. DST figures are pretty tall, so I doubt any of them are going to fit in the driver's seat. And you know what? Surprisingly, I was able to get that Bruce Willis figure in the driver's seat. It wasn't even that difficult. Yeah, he's a little too big for it, but it doesn't look that bad. And finally, here are some Jack-specific wrestling figures in front of the boat. With their limited leg articulation, there's no way in hell they're going to fit in the driver's seat. But at least they look okay in the rest of the boat. So overall, it's a very nice boat. You don't get a lot of 1/12 scale, 6-inch scale, speedboats or motorboats, or boats of any kind. And it works surprisingly well for larger 7-inch scale action figure lines. I really appreciate the fact that it's not too cartoony. Yes, it does have sort of an animated cartoon look to it, but it's definitely not too bad. A bunch of Fortnite stuff is just crazy, ridiculous, wacky, over the top. The boat has a couple small little features like that, like the bright yellow missile, the orange sort of tubes or pipes on the side. But as a whole, it works pretty good as an all-purpose speedboat or motorboat. Very pleased with the purchase. No regrets. In fact, I'd say it surpassed my expectations. I'm just really happy with how roomy it is, and it's able to accommodate a wide variety of action figures. That's definitely a concern of mine. If I were to rate this thing, I'm going to give it a very solid 8 out of 10. Enjoying this thing a lot. I knew I was going to like it, but you know what? I love it. It's a fantastic vehicle, and it looks great, and it's big, sturdy, durable. 2 thumbs up. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say about the video, add to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure and action figure vehicle reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I will talk to you guys real soon.